Here are the features of a parabola. First of all, how do you know an equation is going to be a parabola unless it's in a parabola form, which we'll look at, I'll show in a minute. But this is a general equation, ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy equals e. And this is parabola versus hyperbola versus circle versus ellipse. If a equals b, the term in front of x squared equals a term in front of y squared, and they have the same sign. So if they're equal, they would have the same sign. But they have the same sign and the numbers are the same. I guess I should put a as the same number. That's a better way to say it. If a is the same number as b and they have the same sign, then it's a circle. There's a better way to say it. Okay, circle. If a is same, if a is a different number from b and they have same sign, then it's an ellipse. If a and b have a different sign, they could be the same number or a different number, but it has a different sign, then it's a hyperbola. And now the subject of this video, if a or b, not both, either, I'll put either, not both, a or b equals 0, in other words, there is no y squared term or there is no x squared term, it is a parabola. If there is an x squared term, it's something with y and x squared, then it is a vertical parabola. If it's something with x and y squared, in other words, no x squared term, well, x squared and y and x and a constant. And if it has x, y squared, and then it can also have y and a constant, it is what's called a horizontal parabola. So that's how you tell those things apart. Here are the features of the parabola. Now we get to the subject of this video. Parabola is defined, you see this line is a parabola, and it goes up and up forever. Up forever. Any point on the parabola is equidistant between the focus and the line called the directrix. I draw a line perpendicular to the directrix from the point, and I see what that distance is, and then I find the distance between the focus and that line, and if they're the same, and it will be the same for every point on this thing, it is a parabola. So I'll just call that D1, D2. If D1 equals D2, the distance from the focus to the point equals the distance from the point to the directrix. That is that's the feature of a parabola. Every point you can find in the parabola has those two distances equal. What is all this focus and directrix and all that? Well, I just defined it. The focus is inside the parabola, whichever way it opens, it's inside that opening. So if it looks like this, the focus is going to be there. If it looks like this, it's there. If it looks like this, it's there. It's inside there, and it's a point from which every point on the parabola is equal distance between that and what's called the directrix. Now the distance from the vertex to the directrix, and how do I find the vertex? If this thing is in vertex form, x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k, or y minus k squared equals 4p x minus h, then hk, that point, is the vertex. Again, if the x is squared, this is called a vertical parabola. If the y is squared, it's called a horizontal parabola. So p is the distance from the vertex to the focus. 4p is this thing, is 4p. That's called the latus rectum. Some people are laughing at that word, latus rectum. Lattice means side, and rectum, these are Latin words. It means right or straight. So it's a straight side. It's a straight line that gives the diameter of the parabola. It's the distance from one side of the parabola to the other side of the parabola through the focus. So those are the features. If this number is negative, then it's going to be a down. And if this 4p is positive, 4p is positive, it's going to be an upward parabola. It opens upwards. Here, if 4p is negative, it's going to open to the left. If 4p is positive, it's going to open to the right. That's why it's a good idea to put a parabola into the vertex form of the equation, so you can easily see where the vertex is, what the p is. So then you can find the distance to the focus and find where the focus is. You can find the distance to the directrix and what the directrix is. What is how far from the vertex is the directrix? That's also p. So p is also the distance from the directrix to the vertex via this perpendicular line to the directrix. And this line, by the way, through the vertex is called the line of symmetry. So again, if that line of symmetry is vertical, it's through the vertex and the focus, by the way. If it's vertical, it's a vertical parabola when the x is squared. If it's horizontal, the line of symmetry, or axis of symmetry, it goes through the vertex and the foci, or the focus. There's only one focus and one parabola. Then it's called a horizontal parabola. So this is vertical, this is horizontal. And that's it. Those are the features of a parabola.